And we are live. Hey, everybody. Super excited to have Josh and Maria talking about time management strategies and holding yourself accountable. Yes. Take it away, Josh.
Oh, take it away.
Take it away.
Yeah, I actually really love this topic because we are a big accountability team up here in Michigan, and we talk about this every day. And on top of my door behind me, you can't see it, but it says "Champions Run Towards Accountability." Isn't that funny?
That is.
I got it on the front of my door and I got it on the back of my door. So every team member that walks into my office, we remind each other every day how to hold each other accountable and how to push each other. So this is really isn't this where the magic in real estate happens, is the consistency and discipline?
That's right.
100%.
I mean, I feel like as agents, we cannot overthink things. And, I've always believed that if you set your expectations too high, if you try to do too many things, it gets convoluted and you don't get anything done.
Amen.
So we need to go back to the basic steps of how we each hold each other accountable. And for anybody that's listening, throw a note in on like your best strategy for holding yourself accountable in the real estate world. Can I tell you guys a story first?
Tell me. Yes.
Sure.
I think I told you this on a different topic, but it sticks with me because it reigns true like 24 years later. I had an accountability coach when I was young, new to the business, great guy. And he asked me a question. He said, "Josh, what are your 2 most productive hours of the day?" And I thought about it and I said, when I'm feeling at my best is like 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. every single morning. I'm sure I told you guys this, but it's pertinent to this conversation. I'm feeling at my best, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. And he said, okay. And this is before the age of this is when landlines were still relevant in real estate. And I know they still are, but he said, "Josh, you're going to call me every single morning from the office line at 8 a.m. every single morning. And here's what I want you to do. I want you to write 4 $1,000 checks, personal checks. And this is when I really didn't have any money. I could not afford for one of those checks to be cashed. It would have broke me. I was like 22 years old trying to figure this out. And he said, I want you to write this check to an organization that would absolutely destroy you if this check had to be cashed. Like who's your worst enemy?" And so I had to call him he gave me a 5-minute grace period. And if I did not call him by 8:05 a.m., then he was going to send the check out. The letters were written, the stamps were on it, the checks were written. And so fortunately, none of those checks were ever sent because I was scared to death and I didn't have the money, but I needed to feel such a pain point.
Yeah.
I would build this consistency and I would build this habit. Now, as some of you know, I'm like a diehard Michigan football fan. So all of those checks were written to the Michigan State football program.
Oh, yeah.
Michigan's biggest rival. So I tell you that story because, 24 years later, I do the same thing every day. You will literally find me in the office at the same time every day. I've got my routine. I built this consistency, and that really is what works for me. So I just wanted to start this off with that quick story. And we've got plenty of other things to help on or talk about how we can help other agents. But what are you ladies doing to hold yourself accountable and build habits into your daily schedule? Now, go ahead, Jennifer.
Oh, it's funny because I did the same thing this morning. So I've got a couple of accountability partners, some within the team, some within the United States. But I wrote, it wasn't $1,000, but we agreed on how many calls we were going to make by the next time we met. And whoever didn't reach their goal was going to give everybody $300. Each person $300. So I think the money thing for me, money really sticks to. Years ago, I would pay my assistant if I was more than 5 minutes late in, I would give her $50 bonus, write her a check that day, every day. So you don't, when you get time money to it, you're not late. You do it. I do think too, doing it in the morning for me is best too. I'm a morning person, but if I wait and I put off like making my phone calls, things that I know that I need to do to be successful, but I don't really love doing, I need to do them in the morning, because if I wait, I'm going to make by 5 o'clock p.m. I'm going to have a million excuses, whether it's I'm tired or I've got appointments or whatever. So I think you need to, part of the scheduling, I think, take the things that you don't want to do or you don't like to do and do them first.
Right. I love that. And for everybody, Jennifer, you brought up some good points. I shared a story. Jennifer shared a story, like, personality. Maria, now,
I've got a little bit of a voice.
well, Maria, do you want to talk today? Are you okay?
You know what? I'm good, but I am a very consistent person. So the things that you're saying are very relevant to me, because I don't care if it's Saturday, Sunday, it doesn't matter. I consistently get up at 6 a.m. I've got an internal alarm clock. So it's like, that is my time. I get up. I have a routine. I'm very structured. I've got very much a routine.
Yeah.
So I'm not surprised that you guys are like that too.
Well, I appreciated that about Maria, because I was, we were at a conference in Vegas, and she was like, I go to bed by 9. You'll see me in bed by 9:30 and up at
9 or 10 at the latest. So I'm like, I'm up at 6.
Yeah. Which is all part of it. And a lot of this is everybody needs to understand their own personality styles and what makes them, tick, and how organized they need to be with their internal self. And I think accountability, I always go back to getting in the mindset of playing offense versus defense. As realtors, we have a choice every single day. Do we want to be ahead of things, or do we want to be reacting, like fighting, playing defense? Or do we want to be leading with intentions throughout our day? And ultimately, if we're leading, if we're playing offense, that's going to build incredible confidence in it's going to build incredible fulfillment. And I think that, we've all heard the sayings of take 66 days to create a habit. And for some people, it could be 30 days. For some other people, it could be 250 days. And you need to challenge yourself with that type of consistency and build that type of habit into your daily schedule. I mean, I did something 24 years ago that still helps me today, because I was able to build that into my structure. Now it's a non-negotiable item. So going back to one of the things that I just want to reiterate to all agents is, do not try and set things in place that are not achievable for you.
That's a good point.
I was talking to agents on my team today, and I said, listen, would you agree that it's more detrimental for you to make commitments to yourself and then not achieve them and continually fail? Because if you continually set yourself up for failure, then ultimately that's going to have more of a negative effect. Wouldn't you agree with that?
Yeah, 100%.
Absolutely.
So where I'm going with this is, I'm not perfect, and nor are you ladies, but I feel
really?
Sorry, I'm just gonna call you out. I don't think anybody. I don't think anybody here is perfect. But would you say that you're pretty darn good, for a good portion of the day? Like, there's a sweet spot where you're like, I've got these non-negotiable items and I'm going to hit them.
Yeah, I do. And I do want to encourage too, that if something happens in your day, because life does happen, you've got a sick child, life does happen. Don't forget those non-negotiable items just because you can't do them at 8 o'clock in the morning or whatever your time is. Just then reschedule them. If you have a sick child and you have to be with them at 8, then you reschedule those non-negotiables for later, right? So you do have flexibility, because it's also easy to make excuses.
100%. Yeah. So this is the mental toughness side of it, right? And I'm a big proponent of just being self-aware of reality. And if we could all just be self-aware that things are going to happen, but you need to be mentally strong enough to not make excuses, like Jennifer said, and rein yourself back in, maybe I wasn't perfect today, but I'm going to continue to try and be perfect tomorrow.
That's right.
So we all need to push ourselves. And there's two things that, one thing that we all brought up was like, I'm also a big believer in accountability partners. Maria, I'm sure you are. Jennifer, you said you are, right? So if you need help, reach out to somebody that not only can push you, but you can push them.
Yes, I'm always looking for new accountability partners. I have accountability partners for expired listings, for circle prospecting, for my schedule, so I'm always looking for.
Right. So reach out to people. I mean, I have my entire real estate team is my accountability partner. Like we have very strict I don't want to say very strict, but we have very intentional accountability meetings that we all use as coaching points throughout the month. I've got 4 other agents, like Jennifer said, I've got 4 other agents from all over North America that we meet every single Monday morning at 11:15 a.m. for 15 minutes to push each other. So build these pieces into your business. The last thing I want to mention is, and just jump in, Maria, I'm trying not to make you talk too much. So
You're fine. Yeah, I'm good, because I think the consistency is the key here.
Oh, amen. And we've talked about that throughout, I think, almost all of our sessions. We mentioned consistency.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And as a new agent, I remember, there are struggles when you're a new agent. And if you're struggling with things like this, get in that office, get in the office at a particular time of day, every day, do it consistently, get you that accountability partner, because that is what is going to make the difference in your business.
Amen.
Yep.
Amen. And everybody says they're going to work from home, but let's be real, you're not. So get into the office. I 100%
There's
agree.
too many distractions.
Amen.
There's too many distractions.
That's exactly.
Too many distractions. 100% agree. So the other thing I want to challenge agents on, exactly what Maria said, was like, you also need to understand how much work are you actually doing on a daily basis. So if you're going to start to challenge yourself, you need to reflect on, okay, let me audit myself on what I'm actually doing on a daily basis. Go back and look at your past 3 days and analyze, like, how did I actually call people? Was I prospecting? Was I sending text messages? How much time was wasted? And just be real with yourself, right?
Yeah. And do you know, with that, on that point, Josh, whenever I'm like, man, I'm slow, I've been in the office every single day. I've been working every single day. And what I started doing when I feel like that is started documenting. I just, on a piece of paper, 8:30, got to the office, talked to Allie for 30 minutes, sat down at my computer, played on Facebook. I mean, every single thing that I do, I would write it down. And you really do realize how much non-work you're doing too. So I think it is important.
Isn't that hard though? Isn't that hard to write down? Because you're sitting there and you're like, yeah, I did that.
Yeah.
I knew I should have been on the phone. I was doing that.
Well, see, and that's the other thing. It also makes you do a little bit of self-reflection, go, oh shit, okay, I shouldn't be on Facebook. I should be making my phone calls or whatever.
Exactly.
Yep. Okay. I love it. That's a huge piece of it. So let's be real with one another. The one thing I want to end this on, which I think is one of the most hidden, not talked about pieces of this, is I love the statement of, you cannot show up for other people until you show up for yourself, right?
Amen.
So if we're talking about accountability, I've had a ton of changes in my life, my personal life, a lot of things going on, a lot of, stressful things going on. And I had to make changes in my life. So by the time I got to the office at 8 a.m., I was ready to go. So whatever that takes for anybody, like, I'm consistently up very early, 4:45 a.m. I got to be at the gym from 5 to 6. Like, I'm so structured to the point where I know when I'm putting dishes away. I know when I'm making my kids breakfast. I know my route to drop the kids off for school. So I have a very structured, 3 hours in my morning before I even get to the office.
Yeah.
And that's what I actually need for my mental health. So when I get to the office, everything's taken care of. I'm playing offense still, and I'm ready to roll. So people have to challenge themselves on more of their personal side, on how are they going to be mentally feeling when they show up and they're ready to work. And that takes a lot of personal work there, right? Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah. Amen. Yes, I would.
Yes.
So It's not a sexy topic today, but probably the most important topic.
Oh, it's if you want to be successful, it is what you have to do. And it's hard in real estate because it's easy to say I'm working and I'm really laying out at the beach. It's hard to get up and actually work when you don't have that accountability. So I think it's super important.
Yeah.
It's one of the hardest things about our job because you have to get up and you have to do the work, because if not, you're not going to be successful.
Yeah, and the accountability, one other thing, and I know we're trying to end this, but it also prevents the highs and lows of real estate, right? So a lot of people get out of real estate because when they're busy, they're just all up here. And then after those close, they're back down here. But that accountability and consistency keeps you making money all year long.
Yes.
Yes.
I couldn't agree more. Stay up. Let's all stay off the roller coaster ride today, okay?
That's right. I
can't
love
do
it.
roller coasters.
No, no more.
No
Awesome.
more roller coasters.
Well,
All
we'll
right.
see you guys next week.
Thanks,
All right.
guys.
Have a great
Bye.
day, everybody.
Take care. Bye.